Hi, boys and girls. So this week I'm going to kind of work on retelling in fiction and nonfiction because that was something I noticed as I was doing those tests, that sometimes we forget how to tell about what we just read. So in a fiction book, you would retell using like the plot roller coaster. Remember, this is from so long ago, but that's how we tell the story, right? We start at the beginning and we mention the characters and the settings. So this book is about who and where, and then what did they do? And then at the beginning, what are some problems they had? What are some more things that happened? At the end, what's the solution? So you have to include all of those things. First, this happened. Next, this happened. Last, this happened. Okay, you got to tell it in order from the beginning and the end, and you have to make sure you include those important details. Just like if I asked you, hey, what's that movie about? You're going to give me details. You need to tell from the beginning, the middle, and the end, including those problems, the solutions, who it was about. Okay, so we're going to practice this a little bit, and I've got a collection of new books here getting ready to go out into the library, so I'm going to read them to you. So I'm going to read you one book a day, and we're going to practice retelling. So I'm going to get you the good old plot roller coaster back so you can practice that to remember. I'll be reading you a couple of nonfiction books also, and we'll talk about how to kind of retell those, okay? So we might move that to next week, or we might put them together. I haven't quite decided yet, but here is your first fiction book. It's really cute. It's called The Book Hog. Look at that, book hog. So this is funny because I can tell right now that they have, the word hog has two meanings here. So a hog is another word for a pig, right? A piggy is a hog, okay? But also somebody who takes everything and doesn't share. See all these books he has? They'll call them a hog. So he's hogging the books, but he's also a hog. So that's pretty clever right there. And if you notice, this book is an award winner by the Theodore Seuss Geisel Award. Do you know who that is? That's Mr. Dr. Seuss, right? So the award in his name goes to this book. It's not written by Dr. Seuss, but it was awarded. The book hog loved books. Look at him, such a book hog. Look at all those books. And he had quite a few. Oh my goodness, he's got so many books. He is such a book hog. And he loved the way they smelled. And he loved the way the pages felt in his hooves. And he especially liked the ones with pictures. Look at him, he's even reading on the potty. That book hog. He picked them up here at a yard sale. And there, oh my gosh, in the trash. And anywhere he could find them. Here's Wilbur's books. But the book hog had a secret. Shh. A big secret. He didn't know how to read, and he never learned. He was surrounded by books, but the book hog couldn't read a single one. Oh, he's sad about it. Look at him. The book hog went to bed every night without a bedtime story. Oh, poor book hog. One morning, he went out looking for more books. There he is on his little scooter. And he came to a long, low building, and he smelled some books inside. Ooh, where do you think he is? Can you kind of see it? They've got part of the word cut off. Can you tell where he is? One of my favorite places. He snuck through the stacks, adding several books to his pile. He's at the library. But then a soft voice said, "Would you like to join us for story time?" It was Miss Olive, the librarian. "Pick out a book and I'll read it with you." The book hog blinked, and then he swallowed. "You'll read a book with me?" "Of course," said Miss Olive. "As many as you like." Oh, this gave the book hog an idea. "Wait here," he said. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to try to bring all his books? I think he might. Yep, there he goes on his scooter. He went home. And he came back. Yep, look at that. Look at that. He's got a wagon and it's just filled with more books, or with some books. Look at that. Miss Olive led story time, and the book hog listened closely. He heard many stories, some funny, some sad, and some kind of in between. Over time, and with practice, the book hog learned to read on his own. Do you see how it said that it took time and practice? That's what you guys have been doing. And he grew to love books even more, not just for the way they looked and felt, but for the stories they told. And yes, the book hog still takes a lot of books, because he is a book hog after all, right? But he always brings them back. Ooh, it looks like they're having a book fair on Wednesday. See the sign? Those are nice little clues. Ooh, look at this thing. This is kind of cool. This is an old thing that they used to put in books for the library, where they would stamp the due date when the library books were due. But they don't have to do that anymore because the computers take care of that. All right, guys. You need to be ready to tell this story in order. Okay, I'm going to walk you through it, but I'm not going to tell you what to write. Who was the character in this story? Who was this book about? Pretty much one guy, right? Where are they? They're in a couple places. One place is super important. Were you listening? Okay, now what's the plot? That means what happened in the story. So in the beginning, what'd you learn? Where were they? What was the problem? There definitely was a problem. And then some things happened. And then the problem got solved. So you need to say at least 3 things here. First, and then there was this problem. And then these 2 things happened. So really, I think you almost need 4 things. Then these things happened. And then the problem was solved, okay? So I'm going to be looking for some of this on your Seesaw page that you turn in about the book hog. Alrighty? Tell me what you remember.